Certainly, the international issues in business studies start to expand its theories, practice, cases, lots of examples. All these things are widely discussed. It's very starting recent years. Free trade actually changed the way your business doing and also your way of strategy, your market, your way of manufacturing. So a lot of your business companies operation management changed because of simply a global environmental change. So we are talking about what's the impact of globalization, internationalization, how it affects your, especially global firms' operations. So plus you will see also what are the major, say, topics in international business studies. So lots of area questions you have to handle in international business. But think about what specific issues in international business actually companies try to find and or as their fundamental questions. Okay. Like issues in globalization, very common topics, also kind of a very frequent examination question in high school. I mean, I remember that a lot of questions, very frequent questions in university entrance exams are about asking the issues of the globalization. So, like what is globalization? Before we're talking about the impact of globalization on the companies. So, how you manage your firm in international market? What's the global management? So that's we are going to talk about today. So, in international business, probably you will see lots of informations, lots of new business issues. But we can truly say that these four questions are the what you are actually study in international business, and also what you have to handle in international business. Right? In the real company, this is truly the some of the issues in international business, especially number 4 here. What is global management? So we'll talk about later, like when you have to move yourself outside the international market, right? So should we move to the overseas market, international market now, or should we move into other market, other country later? Now or later? That is the questions. So now or later means that should we be the first mover in that particular foreign market, or we rather than we being a first mover in that foreign market, why don't we just wait until other competitors move that into that foreign market first and just see what happens, and then we follow what happened after that. So deciding if you become a first mover or say second mover. So that's the issue of when. So when you enter foreign market. So when the issue is some of the most important questions in international business, and the other question is like how you enter the foreign market. Just imagine that you run the foreign big companies, and let's say that you plan to enter into the say African market, right? How are you going to enter into that market? So that's the second question. How you enter that market? What exactly mean here? How you enter African market, for instance? So that's the second question. Are you going to enter that market simply by exporting your product, by selling your product, by using vessels, airplane, by using transportation. So export may be one way of here how you enter into foreign market, or you can enter into foreign market with a collaboration of African company, right? So by like joint venture, strategic alliance. So doing business together with an African company, you can start your business in Africa. Right? So that's other options, right? So you can enter into Africa by collaboration, joint venture, or licensing, franchising, a contract, and so on. So that may be other option. Or you can enter into, say, African market all by yourself. Just go there alone. You set up your company owned by 100% yourself, and then you may start your business by yourself without anybody's intervention. So simply what you call a wholly owned subsidiaries. You just set up your firms in Africa, and you start your business. So how means how you enter foreign market means what kind of a method, which method of entry you should choose. That's the questions. Depending on your choice, your business end up with totally different outcome. You may be failure, you may be successful. So your choice of entry determined your international business. And another question is where. So where you are going to enter. I mentioned that Africa is place you plan to enter, but where in Africa? A lot of countries in Africa. So which country you should enter? So that's the questions. So you have to choose some of the candidate countries, and you have to choose the best one out of that best candidate countries. So in order to choose the best countries, best place, you should have your own criteria of site selection. So, so the point is, what kind of site selection criteria you have to use. So that's other questions. So that's all about international business and managing across the border. And also, once you enter, you have to manage people there, right? So you have to hire people in Africa. So then in that case, what should be your management system? You have to run the African firm, company people in African way or Korean way or some third way. So the management issue are the last issue. So the number 4-4 here, what is global management? It is about determining when, where, how, in what way. So deciding those step-by-step questions, step-by-step, answering those questions step-by-step is truly global management. We will see later that it is quite difficult to answer that questions, even if it sounds quite easy. So that's all about managing across borders. So we talk about this one today. So what is globalization before we talk about number 4-4 here? Globalization, we know that. What is globalization to you? And the meaning of globalization to you may be slightly different from the meaning to the manager, right? So for us, globalization means that what? Okay, so you answer actually all about globalization and this issue. So globalization simply say you are right, but also you are also right. So interconnected, like interdependence, right? Everybody interdependent each other, interconnected with each other. No really like border, barriers, boundaries. So that's the globalization. So as you said, there is a pros and cons in globalization. Like what is the Donald Trump is like the candidate of U.S. president. What is he keeps saying? what he keeps saying about his the presidency campaign.
That he's going to build a taller wall.
Yeah, so he's quite against the globalization, right? So, in fact, if you look at like lots of data on globalization, who benefits most from the globalization? I mean, he is, I think, partially right. The Taiwan, Korea, Mexico, especially in late 90s, like these countries benefit huge from the globalizations. At the time, all these countries actually had a very low wage rate, plenty of, however, human resource, so they can sell competitive their product at quite low price, while the other developed countries like USA, according to him, keep losing job of their people for the people from other developing nations at the time. So like the benefit actually mostly goes to developing countries when globalization started somewhere in 90s. Korea probably one of the country who got the most benefit from it because of the barrier remover between countries across the countries. So lots of pros and cons. The pro side of the globalization is simply say that technically nobody stop your traveling, moving around, or exchanging goods, exchanging even human resource, especially exchanging financial capital. This day doesn't have any like almost barrier-free area, especially in financial capital area, right? I remember that like in 90s, if you say transmit some money from here to USA, it may take several days. You prepare lots of documents, permission sometimes, and so that's why you have to wait. It is not like one-day transaction, like transmitting financial resource between countries, but it is now happen in few days, in few hours sometimes. Also, like traveling to other countries, most of the countries with this day have a visa-free agreement, so we can trip to other countries almost without any visa. But it was not in say 90s or beginning of 20s. So this day we can say that we can really travel without visa, without any passport control. That's part of the benefit of globalization. So pros and cons. But business study and manager's perspective, so a lot of social scientists, especially people from sociology, criticize globalization issue. However, in management, nobody really criticize the issue in globalization. Instead, they try to more say on how companies adjust themselves in the globalization. So globalization, whether you like it or not, already here with us. So we have to adjust ourselves in this new environment. So that's like the perspective of the managers. So as you see here, it is globalization is interdependent systems. So this is global economy. What is globalization? It's fast moving stuff. Talk about later, like when globalization idea of globalization started. A lot of critics say that only big firms may enjoy the benefit of it. However, if you look at now, it not only the big firms but also small startups can be run their firms globally right after their establishment. So you can build your firm today and simply you can internationalize your business tomorrow, which was not possible a few decades ago, but it is now possible quite surely. So, regardless of the scale of the firm, any company can be international firms because of the globalization. So, to some extent, the benefit of the globalization does not really going to a particular group of companies. Sometimes, regardless of size, firms are equally endowed with the opportunity from globalization. So it is now what matter is who take that opportunity, right? So I think one of the remarkable change of the globalization is that USA no longer dominates the world economy. So like 60s up until like early 70s, like more than 40% of the global GDP, global productions were made in USA, right? So USA account for almost half of the global production. That was the story up until like beginning of 70s. However, those huge roar of USA firms shrinking this day. So it is only about 22-25% of USA in charge of global productions, and remaining parts divided by Asian firms, especially China and Japan, and also European firms. So in terms of productions, we can see that the dominance of USA keep shrinking and shrinking. Right? That's the outcome of globalization. So that's why Donald Trump so much hate about the globalizations. And also, USA multinationals no longer dominate the international business. Like if you look at, say, Fortune 500 companies, so the top 500 companies in that list, if you look at the nationality, which countries actually dominate that 500 top 500 list? Still USA, but not really USA dominant in that rank, in that list. You see a lot of Chinese firms, the USA firm, the European firms, Japanese firms, and Korean firms, and as well. So the nationality of Fortune top 500 companies are truly multinational, not only the USA, but from all other countries. Collapse of communism. So what this mean? Collapse of communism means that firms now have more market to sell, right? Russia collapsed. Eastern Europe collapsed from communism, now turned into the capitalism. So we have more market. So more market means more place to sell, more place to to import, and global production is very common and so on. So I think the so I asked you at the beginning that the meaning of globalization to business peoples are quite different. So when you say globalization, then simply we may think of the ideas of traveling anywhere, any place without any restriction and so on. But from the business people, companies, globalization means simply two things. They have to think about two issues in globalization. First, I think these two are what company and managers seriously think about or reflect in their management. Global production is very common, and outsourcing is everywhere. So those two things is actually outcome of globalization. So just look at global production is very common. So what is this? What does this mean? So in globalization, in the global world, in the era of globalization, the global production is common. So you as a manager, you have to always remember that global productions. Just look at like Hyundai Motor. We use this example quite a lot. We had a huge labor strike few weeks ago, because of the labor union and management problem in Hyundai Motor. But you may be surprised that Hyundai Motor's production in Korea is less than Hyundai Motor's production in other countries, from foreign markets. The Hyundai Motor produce car in USA. Hyundai Motor here means Hyundai Motor and Kia Motor altogether. They have a production line in Eastern Europe and India, USA. I just forgot. Turkey. So the Ulsan is not the only place for Hyundai's productions. Their production lines are everywhere. So even if they stop manufacturing in Hyundai, they still can producing car from other countries. And the point is that several other manufacturing lines are competing each other in terms of efficiency, productivity, and profitability. So probably bargaining power of Hyundai Motor in Korea may be weakening soon, because they are not the only one who produce the car. So which means simply the global production of Hyundai is now widespread. Right? So the point from the manager is that if you say try to make something, you should not think about your domestic countries. If particular countries offer what you want efficiently, you should be there. So that's the point. In London, for instance, a lot of banks locate their office in that city. Why? Because by being there, the bank can easily access to the financial capital, can easily access to, say, money efficiently, cheaply, effectively, right? Rather than being in your country, but instead by being there, you can secure financial capital, financial resource much cheaper, more efficiently, and competitively. Like Southeast Asia, a lot of manufacturing companies locate their operation in those countries, because if you put that business in those countries, you can see excellent human resource, skillful resource, but the wage rate are still very low compared to, say, Korea. So that's why companies keep moving to those countries. So you don't need to insist your production in your home country simply because you use the same languages, same, say, culture, and same management. So this day, truly, location matters to you. Right? If any place offer you factors simply means like resource that you need better, efficiently, you should be close to that location. So that's the competitive advantage. So global production is very common. So sticking to your, say, base, home ground is not a good idea in this global business. Right? What is outsourcing on the other hand? Because of the globalization, you have to think about this strategic choice seriously. So if you use outsourcing wisely, you end up with huge fortune. But if you, say, poorly use this one, you may lose a lot of, say, resource and money, for instance. So that's why in the era of globalization, the outsourcing issue become more acute and significant. What is outsourcing? Yeah, so outsourcing, simply, right, you have a baby, right, rather than you and your wife carrying the baby, you hire nanny, right, so that's pretty much outsourcing. So what's good part of hiring nanny to carry your baby? What? It's like, yeah, you can make more money, right? So you can concentrate more on your job, right? Your wife don't need to stay home. Your wife can also concentrate more on her job. But what's the disadvantage of that one?
The child might not recognize the mother.
What?
Child might not recognize mother.
Yeah, child may be spoiled. Right? And also, the nanny may not be really carefully carrying the baby as much as their parents actually care the baby. So always, there's pros and cons using the outsourcing, right? Yeah.
It does remind me.
No, exactly. That's actually the point you made, right? Some companies made a huge, successful, good achievement by outsourcing, but as you said, some companies simply destroy their value by the outsourcing. Like Boeing, like Airbus, the manufacturer of the airplane. Just imagine, is it really possible for this firm make that huge airplane alone? Not really, right? So a lot of outsourcing contract partners. If you see like Boeing's, what's the new aircraft of Boeing? 787. 787. Have you fly with that one? 787, right? That's the new one. Small scale. I heard that the wingtip part is made by Korean Air. So and also the door parts from actually Italy. So it is actually Boeing made airplane, but actually if you look every component of the airplane is all made by major other aircraft company of the world. So that is simply outsourcing. You may be in charge in the core part, but some other, not really the core, but still important part, you may ask others to do that job for you. So contract-based collaboration, so that's the outsourcing. You should meet the right partner, you should choose the right partner. Also, you should choose the you should build a strong trust with the outsourcing partners. Without confidence of the outsourcing partner, your job simply cannot be done well. But as you said, like IBM outsourcing partners in India simply destroy the IBM business. A very famous case. When people buy IBM product, hardware, software, the customer may find some problem. Then the customer may call to the IBM customer service center. Then this service center people may answer your question and fixing your problem and so on. But IBM actually contract with the Indian engineer for that service. So say if you purchase an IBM product in USA, and if you say 1-800 service center, then the call doesn't go to the somebody like customer service center in USA, but the call goes to India. So the engineer there in India may answer your problem of the IBM software, hardware, and so on. But as he said, the problem was that the Indian engineers, of course, the Indian engineers may be expert on their own field, but satisfying the customers, say, need, customers' question properly, appropriately may not be really not as much as what customers wanted, right? So when you actually do the outsourcing, it's not really a simply easy job to do. By outsourcing, you can save a lot of money. You can concentrate on your core job. However, because of that, you may sacrifice your, say, core business. But the point again, in global business, in global environment, outsourcing is truly one of the major management decision making, whether you do outsourcing or not. If you do, which outsourcing partner is relevant, good for you? Talk about this one in international business more. Just imagine then why lots of companies try to go overseas market. Right? So as I mentioned earlier, the barrier between countries destroyed, gone. So that doesn't mean that you must move your business into other countries. Running your business in other countries is not really easy all the time. A lot of difficulties. What difficulties you may expect? Let's say that you.
Cultural difference.
Yeah. So in what way?
Different working culture.
Working culture. So an example. Where are you from? Poland. Oh, Poland. A lot of Korean companies actually run. I stayed in their Wrocław, kind of city of LG located there. Many Korean companies. Very nice place. But what problem actually?
I don't know because I've never been in that company, but I know that what I heard from my Polish friend who works now in a Korean company here is that Korean people tend to waste a lot of time. They're not so well organized, while Polish people don't really tend to work overtime. They just
Exactly,
focus
that's the point. Yeah.
on
So.
their work during their working time and they finish on time.
Yeah, so I think that's some of the different culture issues, right? Koreans work so hard, but in less organized way. So that's why they have to work overtime, overnight, all the way. So in your opinion, why that happened? Why people not so organized? Okay, I understand. Let's talk about like site selections. Poland is geographically a perfect location, right? Perfect location, a huge population, very high educational people. So it's like where to locate, say, Samsung's manufacturing line in Poland. So that was the question. And but I think the LG, I think politically already the company and the country have a very strong relationship already. So no other company nowadays even dare to enter into that country because LG and Poland form really tight, strong relationship. Like flat panel manufacturing line there. And if you see if you see the newspaper a few days ago, LG-HYU, LG Chemical announced to build the world's biggest electronic car battery manufacturing line in Poland, right? So, but again, running why LG Chemical put that profitable business in Poland, not in other countries, not in Korea. So that's the question. Why particularly? Why Poland in particular? Yeah, talk about that later. But before we talk about that one, we have to talk about this one first. Why the LG, for instance, should move other countries to make that electric cars battery? Simply, this may be the some of the reason for the firms to move other countries. Economic pressure. What is economic pressure? So because of this one, all company nowadays seriously think about moving other countries for manufacturing the line. As you said, running your business in other countries is so difficult. Peoples are so different. Communications are different. Regulations are different. However, simply economic pressure means simply say economies of scale. So if you try to be a winner in your business, you have to produce it massively. You have to produce it a lot, right? Making a small scale, small amount of products is not quite going to rest. I mean, if it is really, really expensive and luxurious items, it doesn't really bring you a kind of a financial return. So mass production is kind of every company think about how they do the mass productions all the times. By enabling the mass production, you can lower the product price, so you can attract more, say, customers. So that's what I mean here, economic pressure. Economics of simply say. But realizing that economies of scale, mass production in your home country is simply not possible, right? Electronic car, for instance, it is a huge market. So sooner or later, all of you guys here will drive electronic cars. So I recommend you guys don't buy a car, just wait, right? There might be a new version of cars, like driverless, a self-driving car, maybe the trend, or electronic car may be trend. And the car you see out there in the street may not be any car that you drive any longer. So nobody knows what will be the car's next generation. The LG case, however, they saw that electric car will be the future of car industry. But in Korea, the transformation to electric car is quite slow, as you see. While the Europe, the movement to electric car is quite faster compared to other countries. And also, lots of drivers there, much huge, bigger market. So I know that they know that doing business there is difficult, but it is anyway a huge market. Perfect way for them to solve the economic pressure, like realizing economies of scale. So that's why the company choose Europe for their manufacturing. In the near future, Europe will be the biggest electric car. So why not then put their manufacturing post in Europe? So that's why they put Poland. Certainly for LG case, Poland is kind of their hub of manufacturing in Europe. So every LG business locate themselves in Poland. So it is kind of an LG cluster. So that's why they just keep adding their business in Poland. So that's why Samsung adding their business in Hungary or Slovak Republic, because in terms of, say, business environment, Poland is truly the best, but it is already taken by LG, so Samsung have taken some other way. So anyway, mass production is why you have to move yourself, expand your business internationally. Otherwise, you just cannot find the opportunity in the Europe. The second reason is national differences in available resources. If you have taken the economic class, you have heard like factor endowment. Right? When you produce something, what you need is resource, right? Materials. But every nation does possess different degree of resource and materials. So as I mentioned that if you need some resource, materials, you should be closer to that place. Right. If you see that the African market will be the opportunity in the future, then you should be there. Right. You just cannot really exploit that market from here. Like simply making something, selling to Africa may not bring you a strong competitive advantage. You have to get closer to the opportunity. So that's basically here. So like if you need oil, if you need human resource, if you need natural resource, if you need financial capital, just find which place, which countries offer that necessary resource most, and then you just move there, get closer to there. So that's why you have to expand internationally. Your country offer actually, like Korea, for instance. Korea doesn't have anything, nothing, right? You don't have any oil, no natural resource. We have only like human capital, human resource. So because of that, Korean firm need to expand a lot internationally. So because of these reasons, I think the companies, especially larger size firms, keep expanding their business. So like after, say, year 2000, in the new millennium century, size of the firm, like GM, the revenue of GM is bigger than Greece, right? Indonesia. BP, British Petroleum, annual, say, revenue is bigger than Austria. Right? So see, some of the leading conglomerate or companies' revenue is larger than mid-sized countries. So that means that the scale of the companies keep rapidly expanding because of their global expansions. So anyway, lots of risk, but global expansion bring you the huge success, huge expansion, and so on. And liberalization of world economy, right? We know what this means. Removal of the regulation. So entering into like NAFTA, for instance, and also free trade agreement between Korea and Europe, and a lot of countries this day liberalize their trade barrier. Of course, that movement slightly this day freezed. However, that world economic liberalization also help you to expand internationally. Okay, after the break, we go on. What specific difficulties then your firm may have in other countries? Global expansion offers you an opportunity, but it offers you a huge, say, difficulty and turmoil. So we will talk about that one. I just made 4 groups. So 4 groups may present their project at the end of semester. So some of the group, so no more group actually I will accept for your presentation. So other students who are not joining that group presentation may do your own individual writing papers. I will give you the topic right after the midterm exam. So upon that topic, individual of you write some essay. And for group, some group gave me the topic of the presentation, but some other group haven't given me any yet. So please send me. Okay. If you see the syllabus, because of my exam making participation last week, the schedules are all messed up quite, right? So we're supposed to have a review session this week, and we will have a midterm next week, right? But it is delayed 1 week more. So next week, 18 and 12, 20, there will be some makeup class and some review session all together. And then the exam, your final exam, your midterm exam will be what? 25 or 27? Which one you prefer? 27. 27?
27 seems good.
27? 25?
21.
Okay. So 27, we will have a midterm exam. Okay. So yeah.
Is it okay because 27th is midnight?
We.
There's a school policy.
27?
뭐라고? It is okay. As far as we have a midterm exam, it doesn't matter whether we do it on week 8 or week 9.
27 in midterm?
Yeah, 27. And also the group project, I just form here like group A, 김예길, 신선경, 오유라, 홍하은. So group A. Group B, 정진경, 현하영, 김보경, 정인규, 김형규, 김형빈. Group B. Group C, 정지은, 김지연, 이완후, 강성구. Group C. Group D, 김소현, 김재윤, 김주현, 신재아, 김태준. Group D. So make sure you are with your group member. So October 27 will be your midterm. Again, sorry for delaying. All of the professors are very busy this week for grading the students' exam, essay, and also there will be some interview next week. So quite busy from all of the DIS professors. So next week review plus a little bit of a makeup lecture. So in our review session, I normally give no lecture, but I may give some if necessary. Especially so this in your essays or in your some of these interview questions or in your report, probably these 3 reasons will be quite good. Rationale for why your firm, your company, or particular company should move internationally. Economies of scale, national difference in available resources, liberalization of world economy. This one in particular related to your mentioned earlier site selection. Which country would be the best place for you? Once you pose yourself in particular country, then it is not really easy for you to move to other place, right? Like setting up your business, say in one country, may cost you billions of dollars. 수조, one. So that's why once you choose a place, you choose the right one, right? You just cannot regret that. Well, I made a wrong place. I may choose a wrong place. It is too late, right? If you regret that way. So if you choose, you should choose the best advice, the good one. So that's why this day, a lot of companies try to find, say, a country with plenty of labor resource, cheaper, say, production cost, but like textile industry, for instance, like a lot of Korean firms are located themselves in Southeast Asia, so we know that the labor costs there are quite cheaper. But statistics say that you may enjoy that cheap, lower labor cost only up to 5 to 7 years. It simply means that 7 years later, the competitive advantage of that cheap labor cost disappear, right? As you run business there, the labor cost there also increase. So after 7 years, you have to find some other place to move. So that's why nomad business, you have to keep moving around yourself, finding the best place. So that's the trend this day of international business. Keep moving yourself. Like Eastern Europe was the popular destination in, say, late 90s. But say Eastern Europe is very expensive now, so a lot of global from there try to move more eastern side. Lots of CIS countries. Moving into other countries offer you an opportunity, but you have to make sure that there is also challenges. In international business, there is a terminology like a liability of foreignness. Liability of foreignness means that once you be outside of your country, home place, you should pay the cost. Right? Simply, like, say, a lot of foreign students here, I know that those students may find a lot of difficulty here, like the way of communication difficult, systems are not the same. So that's what I call liability of foreignness. Another country, being in another country comes you without any cost. So which means that you have to pay the price of being in other countries. So liability of foreignness means that how to manage and minimize that cost is actually success factor in international business. Like cultural differences is actually the most, as she said a few minutes ago, the most difficult task in your international business. Like Korea, kind of a seniority society. The older you stay in the company, you get paid more, right? Which is not really the case in other countries like Eastern Europe, the Northern Europe, or North American countries. Performance-based payments, rewards, but not really so in Korea. Things change. We now taking a lot of Korean firms taking performance-based reward to the employees, but still, Japanese firm, Korean firms respect older people who stay longer by providing more benefits and compensation, simply by considering their age, which is sometimes not right. So because of that differences, a lot of foreign firms in Korea may find it very difficult to manage that Korean custom. So because of that difference, expatriate. Once you say set up your business in other countries, you have to send your people to that different country's base subsidiaries. So that's what I call 주재원, right? Expatriate. So like how to managing that expatriate is also the in a way to minimize that cultural shock is also kind of a major issues in international business. And another difficulty of your international business is host government pressure. So what is this? The government in other countries give you a lot of, say, stress, simply say. What is it? What kind of stress? Imagine. So you have to concern this one a lot. So handle the host government pressure is very keen to your international business, certainly. I mean, think about like China, right? So I think still a lot of Korean firms start their business in China, but what kind of Chinese government give pressure over the Korean firms?
You have to cooperate with Chinese firms.
You just cannot do the business there alone, right? You have to always collaborate with Chinese firm. What else? Yeah, that's another very key issue. Not only you have to collaborate with the Chinese firm, but also you have to share your knowledge, your technology, know-how, things with Chinese firms, right?
You also have more strict regulations for foreign firms.
In terms of what? In tax, right? HR the regulations, human resource management issues. Yeah, so very tough regulation the Chinese government put over the foreign firms, including Korean firms. So that is a pressure. And also you have to hire, say, this or that percentage of local people by age, this or that. So that kind of a regulation the government, the host government put as their kind of condition. So meeting that one is quite challenging sometimes. But a good side is that the government gave you a lot of, say, incentive. Once you set up your, business in that local government, local area, certainly government may give you, say, free, provide you, say, the school or providing infrastructure for free, no tax for a certain period. So government not only give you pressure, but also give you lots of financial benefits. So you have to measure what pressure, what benefits, what incentives the government actually offer you to your, say, investment. I remember that when we plan to set up operation in Eastern Europe, we have chosen 3 countries as the best place. So, but each country's, the government's offers are totally different. One country is a kind of a promise to, say, build free highway. Right? If you come in, then we build you a highway. Like access is quite important to your business. If your access paved with like lots of, say, highway for free, it is kind of a huge plus to your business. So some governments offer a free highway. Some other governments offer you no tax for 7 years, for instance. Once you start your business, for the first 3 or 5 years, actually you are not really making money, right? It's kind of you spend money for the first 3 or 5 years. You have to train people. you have to educate people. You have to put a lot of, say, advertising costs to let your product knowledgeable to your community. So for the first 3 to 5 years, actually, you are not really making any money. So companies, governments actually offer, say, no tax. But it does mean nothing because you actually don't make any profit. So when you don't make any profit, you don't need to pay tax, right? But tax-free may be kind of a government incentive. And so if you, say, provide, say, training, transfer skills, then the relevant costs provided by the government. So that may be also part of the deal. So a lot of governments offer their very creative, say, incentive, but you have to think very carefully which one at the end may help your firms. Say one government may promise you to build, say, highway for you, but sounds very tempting offer, but once you leave, then that highway means nothing to you, right? So you have to keep watch on, calculate what kind of a pressure the government offer, or what kind of incentive offers, and which one at the end give you the benefit. And pressure for localizations. What is this one? I think out of these three, I think number 3 here is the most difficult challenges to international business. What is pressure for localization? So that's what you mean here. You think the pressure for localization?
That's what I think.
Okay, so yeah, then maybe. But on the other hand, also the meaning for pressure for localization here is that once you be in that country, you cannot insist your way. Simply say, what? Yeah. So that is actually the part of the argument here. How you satisfy? I mean, as you said, that the management style of Korean firm in Poland may not go well with Polish way, which means that the Korean operation management style failed to localize in Korea. So, I mean in Poland. So localization pressure means that if you say being in other place, you act like people there. Also, you have to understand the customer there. I mean, the good example I may mention last year, like LG case, in order to understand the African customers, they keep sending their people to Africa even like 10 years ago when they didn't sell that large volume of their product there. So that's part of their effort of localization. How can you understand people in other countries, what they want, in what way, how to satisfy them. So that's pressure for localization. Very expensive. It costs you a lot of money. So simply customization of your products, providing your best product to people there in local area. That's not what you mean here. What they want is not what you think. So understand them. That's the challenge of the international business. I will talk about this pressure for localization Thursday. Okay. So make sure that we changed our midterm exam 3rd week probably, and